Man, so let's go into a little bit of like how we met. So this is kind of an intriguing story. So I was dancing at the time, and so we never met officially, right? Like, cause you just went to my performances, correct?
Yeah, so I mean, I just went to like some events that we were having, or like the ISU was having, um, and just to kind of, I've
Get out.
yeah,
Yeah, get out because you don't want to like. I mean, you're on a college campus. There's not much to do rather than go to all the ice, the college events and things like that.
yeah, exactly. So me and Tosh,
Your best friend, Natasha.
yeah, my best friend.
But you guys would always pull up to him.
Yeah, so me and her would always go to a bunch of events, just to get out of the house and everything, and yeah, and then we kept seeing this guy that was like dancing all the time, saying, "Oh, follow me here and follow me there," and so both of us had like followed you just, to see what was going on, and
Yeah.
just sparked from there.
Isn't that crazy? So how many like shows do you think you went to of me that I performed at a lot of events at the time?
I know, I no idea. At least probably 5.
But so you saw me like a good amount of times,
Yeah.
which is crazy because you were there for some of the most important pieces of my life before we even knew each other. Like when I did that dance for my grandma, like that was heavy, and I put a lot of it's crazy too because like behind the scenes here I am putting in all this work that you would have witnessed, but of course we didn't know each other, and then so you just like got to show up to the event, and we're like what is this?
Yeah, exactly.
Did you cry?
No, I didn't.
Son of a
Sorry. It takes a lot for me to cry.
But
like,
did it hit hard though?
It did. No,
did.
I mean, it really did. I mean, it had a really good, your storyline was so great with it all. So yeah, it was like a really emotional, but
Yeah.
it takes me a lot to cry, especially in public.
I know. How many movies we got to see where people died and you don't cry?
I've literally cried in 2 movies.
I know. Isn't 5 Feet Apart?
Oh, well, okay, so that it would be 3
I was about to
now.
say that's the one that you've cried with me in public.
Yeah, so 5 Feet Apart. When I was little and I watched Fox and the Hound.
Oh yeah.
I literally have not been able to watch that movie again. It's too.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
And then
I can't watch that.
there's this older movie that my parents like had, and they're like, "Oh, it's so cute. It's about a cat and a dog." And I'm like, "Cool." It's called Milo and Otis, and literally it is the saddest thing ever because one of them gets like lost, and no, I can't do it.
No, so no crying.
No.
Yeah. So we did. So you did see me a couple of times. So. How we did finally start getting to get around each other a little bit more is I was working with Jed Greenhouse, which is, I can't remember what episode, but he was on this show, and we were going to go on tour, and then it got scrapped because of a couple of things, but he was making music, and I was going to be like his head dancer person, right? Mm-hmm. But he lived in the same building as you guys, which, of course, I didn't even know you, because you guys saw me, but I had no idea, like, who you guys were. I haven't even met you yet. But I remember walking by, and there was this whiteboard outside this door when in the hallway we always passed every single day, and I was like, who, like, when then like people would write on it, whatever. I'm like, whose whiteboard? Like, where did that idea come from? Like, why do you have a whiteboard for students to write on?
Yeah, before I moved back to Idaho, I was in Florida, and so Tasha, she went to school here for 1 year, and she actually lived in Turner, and she had like the whiteboard on her
really?
door. Yeah, so then when we moved in together, she's like, "Hey, I'm going to put this on the door." And I'm like, "Okay, cool. Like, we can draw on it, or other people can draw on it. Like, it'll be all cool." So
that's so cool, though. Because I remember walking by those couple of highs or whatever the heck. But you never got anything weird or too crazy on it? Like, no one drew a penis or anything? Like
no. Because, I mean, I think where we lived, it was a little bit more, I guess, where, like, older people lived.
Right.
And so it wasn't kind of like Turner where it's like your freshman year. Like we lived with like a ton of like seniors and juniors that were like just moving out. So
right. Yeah, so that's crazy though. I remember walking by it and I was like, man, like this board is here like every day. And me and him were walking by to his apartment every single day, and I was like, I'm just gonna like write on it. Do you remember what I wrote?
You had wrote like text me. And then you wrote your like actual phone number on the whiteboard, and I was just like, who would write their phone number on this whiteboard? And even if I was not home, can you imagine how many people would have texted you?
Maybe that's what I wanted. Make some new friends.
Yeah, that would have been no. I would have never done that.
Right, but you got it. But you know what's even weirder? Did you text it?
I did.
Yes, you did, yo. You totally texted. Hey, I'm supposed to text you?
Yeah.
I was like, yo, what up? I'm like, you're the girl with the whiteboard, right? And we started talking and chit-chatting. So, but you already follow me on social media, too, because
because of those events where you would be like, oh, like, follow me.
Yeah, follow me on social media.
So, yeah, me and Tosh had, like, already followed you, so.
Natasha was following me, too?
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that was the peak time, though. That was, like, when I had 12K followers. Now I'm down to, like, 9. Whoops. But that was crazy, though, when you guys followed. That was pretty awesome. But you guys were already following me, and we already texted, too. And so one of the biggest things, though, that really switched it up is me and Jed were upstairs, doing whatever. And we're playing games and, like, working on music, kind of just a mix of everything. And he's like, I'm going to use the bathroom real quick. I'm like, cool. And then I just hear, Gage? I was like, what? It's like, we're out of toilet paper. Oh my God, you know what's crazy about that? The whole toilet paper shortage right now?
Yes, exactly.
We had a shortage back then, yo.
Oh my gosh.
Toilet paper shortages all the time. But anyways, with that shortage, she was like, yo, we're out of toilet paper. I was like, bro, like, I don't know anybody in this building. Oh, wait a minute. What about that girl? I'm kind of like, we only texted for a minute, but that girl I texted like a couple weeks ago and they live downstairs. She's like, dude, I need it. It's like, all right, bro. So he's like, text her. I was like, no, I'm not going to text her. I'm going to show up at her door, remember? So I just came downstairs and knocked. I heard scrambling and something going on behind the door. What was happening? Like,
so,
when I
yeah, our kitchen table is literally right next to our door. So it was me and Tosh, and then we had a friend over, and her name was also Natasha. And all three of us were just talking and everything, and then we had heard the knock on the door, and we're just like, okay, it was only us three, so who else is, like, coming? And I remember Tosh got up, and she was looking out the little peephole, and she's just like, oh my God, it's that guy. And both of them, like, went running, and they're just like, yo, you have to answer it. Yeah, and I'm just like, why do I have to answer it? Like,
I just started laughing, giggling,
running. They were all just
something's falling over. I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah, I just remember answering the door, and then they were just, like, peeking around the corner while we were talking. God,
that was so funny. They just, like, slowly, like, their eyes, I'm like, hello?
Yeah, exactly.
But, yeah, I was just like, y'all got some toilet paper?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then I remember giving it to you, and you're just like, oh, I'll give it back to
you.
you.
I'll give it right back.
I'm like, no. I don't. Just take it. Just take it and leave.
You don't want the used toilet paper? It's gonna take a couple strips. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no. You can just keep it.
That was so funny, yo. But yeah, so I took it upstairs and gave it to Jed, and all was well. All was well at that point. But like, if he did not ask for toilet paper, we would. That was our first one-on-one. Yeah. That was the first time we talked in person. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
But
how it all like ended up, it was.
Yeah. That was insane. But. Dude, like, think about, like, this is crazy thinking about, like, this whole shortage situation now, because this is what people need to be doing. If somebody comes to your door, give them toilet paper, yo. Support people, yo. You didn't have to, but you're like, here you go. And I was like, not all heroes wear capes. Like, ran upstairs, gave it to Jed, and all was well. But that was good. That was, like, that's a crazy first time to meet over our friends pooping and toilet paper. Like, what if you guys weren't there? Like, oh, okay, well, like,
I know.
You would have wiped to something else and never would have, not anymore, because we texted for a little bit. Like, we're like, oh my God, this is funny, haha, and then we stopped. Found me on social media, never really engaged, and then it just kind of died down until that toilet paper incident. But it's crazy how that can literally, like, one instance can, like, change the course of our lives. Like, that is so crazy, because then, like, that whole incident happened. Don't talk for, like, another week, but then, like, I texted you earlier that day, said something, whatever. I'm like, yeah, I'm here, but my internet wasn't working, remember? And you're like, hey, if you want to, like, swing by. And I was really, like, 2 blocks away. I was like, why not? Like, I'm just going to go to this random girl's house, hang out, do some homework. And then, oh, my God, that was fun. But that was the moment we realized how compatible we really were in so many different ways. Like, remember? Because I was like, dude, I love Mountain Dew. And you're like, I got a 24-pack. I was like, bro. And you gave me Mountain Dew. And then we talked about, what was the next thing?
Our lucky number.
Our lucky number. Yeah, 23.
That's like in all of our passwords.
Yeah, I was on like Bangle Web or something, putting in like 23, and then Natasha's mouth just drops. I'm like, what? And she's like, that Janie uses that for all of her passwords. I'm like, bro.
Yeah.
23, which, by the way, is the number of this podcast. Yo, let's go. That was not planned. Yes, it was. But yeah, so
gosh.
23 is our lucky number. And then what else do we have in common? We both played video games. You're talking about how you and your dad got new remotes for the Xbox, and so many things were like.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, though, it was like right when you had got your Mini Cooper.
Oh, yeah.
And Mini Coopers are like my dream car.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and then you like let me drive it, and oh my gosh, it was
you
crazy.
killed it. Not like actually killed it. You killed it, and like you did awesome. Like so that was our first like unofficial date, because it was just us hanging out alone, because we hung out so many times before that. With Natasha, but that was our first time like hanging out with just us. And we went in the parking lot, and you drove, and you did it like well. My grandpa Alan literally took me for 3.5 hours into a parking lot, and I did not know how to drive it even at that point. Drive the clutch, killed it. Drive the clutch, killed it. Jenny's like a little bit of rough, and then boom, like 2 minutes in, she's like driving all around, flip it. I'm like, bruh.
That's because I'm a good driver.
Jeez, but that was legit though, and it was even crazier too that you're like, I wanted a Mini Cooper forever, and here I am pulling up in a new Mini Cooper.
I have ever since like it was probably like middle school. I want to say I watched this movie.
Is it the one with all the
Mini Coopers? The
Italian Job.
The Italian Job, yeah.
Yeah.
So I watched that movie, and ever since then, I would always tell my mom, I'm like, that's the car I want, like in
crazy.
Light blue, like that's what I want. It was crazy.
That was pretty crazy. Ours was cream, but it was still pretty legit. Right around, it felt good. Like I loved that little thing until it got water damage, but whatever. But yeah, riding that Mini Cooper around was a lot of fun. I enjoyed just like us hanging out for the first time, because what I really loved too is like, because it was me, you, and your friend Natasha. You guys were best friends. You're always hanging out, and then I had my best friend Landon, and then after 10, 15 times we're hanging out, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna bring my friend over. Like, oh yeah. And then literally for a year and a half, it was just the four of us. Every time we went out and ate, we studied together, we watched movies together, we played board games together, all four of us. We had like nothing like dating wise, like nothing. We didn't do anything. We were like legit just friends. Yeah. For a long time.
It was crazy. All those like YouTube videos that we used to do, like that shocking one.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
All the little vlogs. They're still online. Go find them.